Any problems with experience? Okay, great. I'll use this one because they can see. And you've got your money. Okay, look, come round and see. Come round and see. So, I might sit down as well. So this is what's on Carol's video as well. So, this, we went through NTS, mobilization and tactile stimulation, remember that? So the principles are slightly different. Neurophysios are really into mobilizing, desensitizing, and then activating, like changing what the system is doing or what the particular part of the body is. So this is the same principles really. People have done really good work. So Sue's work to label that and give it a process and then research it is phenomenal. It's phenomenal research for lots of reasons I won't go into. But the lack of research in the neuro world has been high, so that's a really amazing thing to do. But effectively, all we're doing is good handling to desensitize. So this is how I would handle someone's foot in this position. I would sit, why not? I want to be nice to myself. I want to be focusing on what I'm doing, not my position. So I would definitely have somebody in this position. Are you okay if I don't do an extensive explanation to you like I would do for a patient? I just crack on with your foot. Tell me if anything's sore or I got you. Okay? You don't have anything I need to know about? No neuromas or anything nasty? Okay, fine. So what we'd be looking for is handle the foot first. So everything you do, you're going to assess first, okay? So we're going to handle the foot, and I'm applying, and those of you on that side probably can guess, I've got my thumb under into the foot, and I'm lifting. So if you think about your anatomy here, we've got the metatarsal heads. Under the metatarsal heads, we have the plantar plate, which you may not be familiar with. Plantar plate is a ligament that goes across the metatarsal heads. The lumbricals in the feet, lumbricals in the hand, attached on either side of the metatarsals in the, along either side and underneath the plantar plate. It's a ligament. It's a ligament that comes across. It's really cool. So you want, when we stretch, so this foot's lovely and adaptable. Okay, we want that foot to adapt to our handling and to the pressure. If somebody had a positive support, as I applied pressure, it would push back towards me. So I would desensitize it with my handling. So I would get, come on, do me a push down. Yeah, it would be like that. You don't. Okay. Now I use my thumbs. I'm hypermobile, as I may have mentioned, so my thumbs are a lot stiffer now in my 50s than they used to be, and I'm quite happy. But be careful. But for me, I wouldn't use your thumbs because they're really handy and it's the right position to come around here. If you're hypermobile, you just need to be aware and careful of your joints. So as I'm moving, because I'm so mobile, like my joints do this, but I'm not an MSK physio, I very rarely do my joint merge. Is this all going over your head? Does that make sense? Okay, that's fine, just like that. You look a bit scared. So you do, what I'm saying is, as you use your hands, remember to learn about you and your body and how you're going to use your hands in your profession. I've worked for well over 30 years, and I use my hands all the time, and I've modified to the fact that these are now arthritic. I don't rock one, but I do work. So, as just be aware of that as you handle and learn. And adapt to you, even though you're senior, work with clinicians, do what works for you within the realms of what you want to achieve. So let's go back to assess. So we're going to assess, we're going to feel for that pressure which would come in at this point. And so I'm going to desensitize. So I'm going to go away from the point that's the nastiest point, and I'm going to work around it. So I would do cutaneous desensitization. So there might be some stroking and handling to start off with to really desensitize. You're going to look at what the patient's response is. Okay, but getting into a stretch, it might be that you just hold that foot and that you can ease into it and you can go in and out of the response. But basically, you listen to what's in front of you and what the response is. Okay, but you're going to practice in a minute as well. From a handling perspective, you need to know what you expect from a normal foot. And I can tell you that a foot for somebody in their 20s is different to somebody in their 50s, although you're not getting your hands on my feet. And mine are quite mobile, but that's because I really stretch them. But once you see people and you're like, oh, how old are you? Oh, okay. And people's feet do get stiff. Most of us don't stretch our feet either. We don't really look after them. If you're into feet, there's a really good I can't remember what they do, but anyway, they sell lots of things as well. They do lots of exercises. It's called the Foot Collective on Instagram. It's really, really interesting. They look at how mobilizing and like toe spaces and put your fingers between. Have you seen it?
I've seen those two spaces.
Toe space, yeah, toe spaces. I got one of my clients to get toe spaces. He sent me a video of his purple toes with them like that, toe spaces in. I was like, get up and walk. Do not, I'll take them off. Yeah, so anyway, blah, blah. So feet need a bit of work. So you need to think about a foot in terms of where are the points of contact. So you need a nice lateral border. You want the base of the first toe, which we sometimes call the first ray. It's a bit of an old-fashioned term. Base of the first toe needs to be away from the rest of the toes. You don't want a foot that's all scrunched up, because that's not going to be able to adapt to the floor. You think about what that foot needs. You start off with desensitizing. You might apply a pressure. You might not be able to. You might just apply a bit of sensation. Are you ticklish? Okay, that's handy, isn't it? And then work your way into stretching other areas. So desensitizing with hands-on, okay, and you'll feel it. Okay, but the bottom line is have a look at each other's feet briefly. Feel for that point where you've got the lifting point here, where the pressure goes into the base here. So coordinating the associated, I can't think of the right word, corresponding point where you have the lift here, because this needs to be mobile, and this is where you'll feel the pressure. So this is the point where you'll feel the positive support coming through, and that'll be the place that you need to lift and separate and desensitize. Okay, makes sense. Now, where I would really work, yeah, come and sit on this side for me. Good, very comfy. Okay, I tend to start here. I don't mind sitting on the floor, and I'm quite happy to be here. So I would often use a chair, I would work here, and reduce gravity, and have this foot up, and desensitize here. But being in supine is absolutely fine. It's much nicer for a patient, and it depends. If you think about the principle that gravity is going to make this worse, then take all the gravity off and get into the intrinsics. It makes lots of sense. Okay. I'll work here and I'll assess it here, and I'll take that foot up, and then as you lower, you'll feel the foot start to push, literally start to plantar-flex into your hand. So you get a sense of how much gravity is a problem for that foot. And then I would take that foot up and I would do the same. It's actually really nice and supine to work on a foot. But then I'm working over the dorsum with my hand, and then with my fingers here to separate and lift and do the same thing. I'm still thinking about the lateral border, the base. If you think about the points of the foot as we walk, heel, lateral border, off through the, land on the base of the first toe and off, okay? Yeah, really important. So it's not heel to toes, we kind of curve around and off our feet, don't we? Depending on their mobility. So I would do it in this position. And then, then stretching of other muscle groups. So that's really important. So if you think about the position that I showed you, if it's going to go into inversion, you've got a shortened TA. Okay, and then suddenly your soleus is nowhere near where it should be, is it? It's all stuffed up here. Okay, and then gastrocs is probably singing. What do I mean by that?
Activated.
Yeah, really overactivated. Yeah, because your gastrocs is like pushing like mad. You should have, I won't bore you with too much detail, but you should have separation in the function between your soleus and your gastroc. So gastroc stabilizes the knee as it moves anteriorly through gait, and soleus stabilizes the heel down. Okay. If you don't know the difference between the two, then go and check your anatomy. Okay. Soleus underneath, double heads, soleal line comes through. You feel it here. Okay. The two come down together to form the Achilles tendon. So you may have to really work on the foot, and then switch. I don't do this one, but switch to gastrocs. Not some of you'll see, taking the lateral, taking the two heads and separating them, and working through so that those muscles can release that fixation and then descend. Okay, so you're looking for a foot that's going to come to the floor. Then I'm going to show you it all in one because this is what's on the video. Then you can practice. Yes. Okay. So we've done our preparation, and then we've got to get this foot on the floor. Now, I want something on the floor because up in the air is not normal for anyone, is it? So other foot down. Now this foot's not going to be happy. So we might have it here, or we might gradually desensitize and then get the foot to the floor. Now, what I've done that's been really successful with this with people is give them feedback. So I say, okay, can you feel the pressure through my hand? So I'm like, oh, it's a very hard work. You can push a little bit, that'd be nice. Can't push. Yeah, so I'm working on it. Okay, just release that and let it go. So you take it up again. Then you introduce gravity, and then it starts pushing again. You go, can you feel that? Okay, can you let it go? Take it up. So you get the patient to learn. Yep. Take it up, take it up, take it up, then lower it down. So then they start to learn what a light foot feels like. And then you take them right down to the floor. And you might get that close and go back up again. Okay, pick it up, keep it light. But it's feedback all the way until you get something in contact, and might take much longer to get there. You might put it on a block, but I tend to use my hand. And then as the foot comes down to the floor, it might be pushing now. So I'm like, you've got to give them the range of the movement and then let them come down and feel the floor. Now, something that's really nice, if you have it, is like a mat or I've got a Propria pad. Anyone know what a Propria pad? You know, one of those, it's like a balance pad. Decide how much equipment I bring next Thursday for your session, but I've got a balance pad and you can see the pressure. So if someone's pushing in, they get feedback. So you're desensitizing, but you're also re-educating with this all the way through. So that might be a nice way. I mean, people don't tend to have a bag of sand with them. I tend to do feel on my hand, and it works. Like, it works really well with people as well. You've just got to kind of recognize what you're looking for by feeling the foot and going, oh, actually, when I take this foot off the floor, actually, because they just feel like they're falling and pushing, but you get the, oh, it's settling, okay, and you can bring it down. But you can feel the pressure, and it's not normal. You won't feel that on each other today. Okay. So you work the foot to the floor, and then you will. What do you think we do next? So the process is. What's the trigger? Gravity. Gravity is the trigger. Well, gravity and the stretch. Is that what you said? Yeah. Well, you kind of did, but it's the pressure through the intrinsic muscles. But it's really gravity. It's really gravity. So we've increased the gravity. We've gone from supine to sitting. Now we're in this position. We can increase gravity by saying sit up more. I can keep my foot under here, my hand under there, and feel it, so I can give feedback all the way through, okay, and then we can get that foot on the floor. If it starts pushing on the floor, what will we see? Hand flexion, exactly. You'll see the heel lift, and you won't see the foot, or you'll see it roll, but you won't see the foot in contact. If that happens, we go back, we reduce the gravity again, we take it up. And we go, okay, we need to stretch more, we need to desensitize. We might give the patient homework, might take a couple of sessions, a few sessions to get there. Might give them some homework to get their foot settled. This is not in here, but I use foot rollers and sensory stimulation really successfully to reduce tone in feet as well. And that's been really, really useful.
Small massage ball.
Yeah, that can work, as long as it's not painful, but it will give sensory information, it will stretch out. Yeah. I've got to show those of those. I'll bring a very big bag next week. We can look at equipment if you like. So once it's here, we can then increase gravity, can't we? So what would be the first way of increasing gravity?
Pressing down.
Go somewhere first.
Lift the
Pick that up. That's hard work. I mean, I'm not saying you're happy. Just saying I'm sitting. Yeah, so we can. That's the first way. Yeah. So then we check it again, same thing, okay, same thing. What's that foot feel like on the floor? But what does the patient feel like? So does the patient feel safe, or actually are they like, whoa? So then do we need to desensitize that? Do we need to work on something else? So it's not just, might not be the foot, it might be that, okay, well I need this foot to stay in the right position, but actually I might need to stabilize that foot and work on, so I do this. I use, because I work on my own, I will use everything I've got. I might do here, but here I can keep your knee steady, okay? So, and then I can work on, okay, well, do we need a hand down? You know, how balanced is this person? So you want to really check what the balance is doing. Oh, it's your money. He's got two patrons. Yeah, so is he balanced? Is he not balanced? Where's that knee staying? Is the foot staying down, or is it lifting? I need to go back to the foot. Okay, but it's that same principle of increasing the gravity. Do we actually have someone with really poor weight transference across here, and that drift, that push means that actually we need to stop now, re-educate all of this first before we go up. So if we just desensitize the foot and then went up into standing, we might miss a few steps, we might miss the rehab. Now sometimes, just nearly finished, sometimes people are actually quite far on in their rehab before I find it, and that's for lots of reasons. Because I do handle people's feet and I check them on the floor, but it might just be that it's coming in when they walk, and so then actually to find it, you have to start from standing. Stand up, come on me, and turn to your left, towards me, sorry, this way. And you might have to just get somebody, holding on, or a chair behind, or a person behind, and you might just go, I think we've got a bit of a positive support and no one's treated it, so yeah, so give them some support, and then I'm going to take your foot off the floor and take the foot up. Because he's pushing into the floor, right? Because that's normal, because I've taken his foot off the floor. But if you take the foot up and feel it, then you go, oh, hang on a minute, it's in there. Oh, okay, and then you desensitize. So then you can desensitize it from here. And you take that foot on the floor and you work on balance through one leg. And then you do all the handling stuff just the same, but then you work on, okay, now your foot's nice and quiet, let's put it down. Oh, it's not now, I'll bring it back up. Okay, now stop pushing on the floor. So that's really nice high-level balance work. But you often find that there's a bit of a latent positive support in there. And then you work that control to the floor. You okay? And that stability, sorry, watching them like you. But you're very careful, okay? So you might have somebody really blocked in if they've got perceptual problems, like next to a wall or even in the corner of a room, so that they feel really safe as well. So it's slightly complicated. Okay, let me just check. Any questions? Make sense?